Not quite sure how to fix this wire situation. I need to retie it, I guess. A couple days ago, I was driving to work. This is the first day back after Christmas. It was on the 26th. Unfortunately, I had visited my family in another city for Christmas and had to leave that afternoon to get back in time for work. So I was already feeling a little bit rushed just in general like that. And then on the way to work, I was also running a little bit late, and I kind of just instinctively checked the time as I was driving, and I just realized that I do that a lot, and I check just to kind of, I guess, either reassure myself that I'm not going to be late. This looks like it's new. I don't know if I should be walking over here. I'm either checking just to make sure, I'm not going to be late. If it looks like I have a couple more minutes of buffer time, then I'll feel a little better about it. But a lot of times I don't, and I'll see it's just a couple minutes before I'm supposed to be at work, and that makes me feel a little bit more anxious. And I was just thinking that every time I check the time on the way to work, I just feel like it gets me starting off more and more on the wrong foot. It just it's just a way to start the work day. Instead of going in like fresh, I'm just going in with just a little bit more anxiety than I need to. Because it's not, if I'm checking the clock at home as I get ready to leave, and I'm kind of keeping an eye on that, that's one thing, because I can use that information to try to plan for some extra time, get out there a little bit early just in case anything happens. So that would be like more of a better use of checking the time. But when I'm already on the way, I can't get there any faster than I already am. So when I check the clock on the way, just kind of instinctively, I'm feeling a little bit stressed about it. I check the clock, and more often than not, I have less time than I needed, and I just start feeling more anxious about it. And then just the whole rest of the drive, I just feel like I'm behind, like I'm going to be late, and all this stuff that just doesn't matter. And it's not like it really matters at my job if I'm a couple minutes late, but I try not to be, but it's not a big deal. Nothing bad will happen if that's the case. But just checking the clock on the way, it just introduces a little bit extra anxiety into my day. It's just a bad way to start, and it's a common habit I have, but it's definitely not the only one. I can think of several others. A lot of them kind of time-based, like I just try and do too much in the morning, and I don't give myself enough time to get ready before I have to go, and I'm just in kind of rush mode, that just increases my anxiety more and more up until I get to work, and then I'm just really starting off on the wrong foot. And there's other times when I set myself up a little bit better for it, when I'm doing stuff in the morning, I'm getting stuff done that I wanted to. But I just start getting ready a little bit earlier than I think I need to. And then, for the rest of that kind of preparation period, I'm just a little bit ahead of it. I've got some buffer time. I'm not feeling rushed. I feel like I can get the stuff done and get ready for work, and I can get there a little bit early. I can, if I can, I like to get there early and just sit outside for a couple of minutes before going in, so I'm not just kind of going straight from driving, possibly and probably anxiously driving and running out of time, immediately going into work and starting the day like that. It just gives me a little bit of buffer time. I saw a video about this the other day, and I think it's from a pretty popular channel that you may have seen. I think it's called Dry Creek Wrangler School or something like that, but there's a guy talking about basically this type of thing, just setting yourself up for success in the day. Just giving yourself a little bit of extra time so you can start things right. And he was kind of talking about the distinction between your own time and then the kind of the time that you can purely make your own choices during like your free time, and the time that you is kind of owed to something else, like your job or whatever, some type of scheduled thing that you have, made a commitment to use your time for that. So, yeah, it's just about this kind of this job time versus your own time. And, when you're on somebody else's time, you're at your job or whatever your scheduled thing is that you've committed to doing, that's all you can really do is be there for that time. But you can make a lot more decisions about what to do with your time when it's on your own time, and that just includes how you set yourself up for the day, before going into work or before leaving the house for whatever you've got going on, or if you're staying home, just how you prepare yourself to start the day and do whatever you're going to do. And I just feel like I get in the bad habit a lot of not setting myself up very well, just getting rushing mindset, and kind of just slowly amping up the anxiety as I go into work. It's just a bad way to start. I really don't like it. I just feel kind of bad and anxious for a while at work until I can kind of resettle in instead of just starting the day off like that. It's not a good way to do it. Yeah, that's all. Just kind of noticing a pattern in myself. I'm sure lots of people can relate to that. I think a lot of people just live in that kind of rushing. We're in a rush society, I think. Always on the go in some way. And even if you don't feel like you're super busy, just having these little moments of rushing between things really just kind of exacerbates any little anxieties or bad feelings you might have. So if you're in the habit of that, like I am a lot of times, just try and give yourself a little bit of a break. Just build in a little bit more time. Let yourself do things a little bit slower. Just try and be a little bit more intentional with how you're going about your day. That's what I'm going to try and do, at least.